No intro for this one, baby. I'm free at last. After 2 years of working my terrible retail job at the grocery store, I am walking the streets free as a bird. That said, during my time in the grocery store, I faced many challenges, such as beyond incompetent management and lazy coworkers. One of them was a whole ass groomer, by the way, but we're not here to talk about that. No. My dear friend, we are here to talk about a major problem that many general retail workers experience. You see, for whatever reason, these food establishments are hotspots for demons from hell to suddenly resurrect and enter our facilities disguised as human beings. So today, we are going to be talking about some of those demons. So first, let's talk about general pet peeves, things that don't necessarily make these people rude or evil, but still things I hated about working with customers. Exhibit A. People staring directly at me even though they are being helped by one of my coworkers. I get that your eyes may wander. I know I've looked at employees while waiting for my food, but the second they make eye contact with me, I'm looking away like a normal person. But these people just keep staring into your soul like they're trying to blow you up with their mind. Hey buddy, take a picture, it'll last longer. Now I have to take my sorry confused ass over to you and ask if you need any help because it looks like you're asking for my help by staring me down. And then you're like, oh no, I'm being helped, thank you. Then buddy, look away. Exhibit B. People interrupting your workflow to order only to not even know what they want yet. You mean to tell me you opened your fat, disgusting mouth to get my attention, only to sit there like an absolute goober because you haven't actually decided on anything? Why is watching you tap your chin and be indecisive a necessary part of me taking your order? I get if I'm like not paying any attention to the counter whatsoever, but I am being productive, doing my job, like looking behind me now and then, right? Because I'm doing prep here and I'm looking behind me to see if there's customers coming up. Like I'm doing all the steps right. And you think you're important enough that you need to disrupt that beautiful workflow right there that I carefully built over the years, just to stand there for several more minutes and waste my precious time when I could have stayed being productive. Not to mention when they change their mind and don't even order anything anyway. Exhibit C. Shaved orders. For context, I worked at the deli in the grocery store, more specifically the charcuterie. Now, most of these charcuteries will take your order, grab the meat you want, and have to slice it up on the spot, and it can take a while. But our system worked quite differently. You see, we specifically, conveniently, stocked boards full of fresh meat every day. This way, you could order however much meat you wanted, and we could just grab it right off the board and serve it to you. This is what we were usually busy doing all day, helping customers and taking our sweet time to keep the board stocked. With this very convenient and gracious system in mind, let's talk about the people who just weren't satisfied with this very simple transaction. You see, some of these people seem to think they are above your constant labor and above the boards of fresh meat that you spend hours every day slicing. And they request, they demand that they have certain meat cut thicker, thinner, or God forbid, shaved. Do you realize how long it takes to carry out a shaved order? If they order a pound of shaved meat, you may as well just chain yourself to the slicer right there. Think about how much these little crumbs, these sad little remains of lunch meat weigh. It would literally take an entire lunch break to do some of these orders sometimes. 30 perfectly good minutes that could have been spent stocking the boards, pre-packaging meats for the shelves, slicing meat for the sandwich makers in our deli, because yeah, all of that was part of our job too, by the way, or even just fucking cleaning. But no, sorry, let's all slow everything down for this one person who thinks they're special. Appeal. Let me take the precious time out of my day and literally shred apart this giant chub of meat by getting it out of the fridge, grabbing a knife, opening it in a container because we need something for all the juice to land in, put it on the slicer, and if you already had meat there you were slicing for something more productive, and guess what? It's not important anymore. Move it out of the way, change my gloves because of the juice, and then spend extra time shaving me for your picky ass. Now, are these people doing anything morally wrong simply by being picky? No. I don't give a fuck. I would rather have a customer be rude to me over a simple order than have to shave one goddamn thing for even the classiest, most polite customer on the planet. Fuck specifically cut and shaved orders. We literally have meat like that available, pre-packaged, in other parts of the store. These orders shouldn't have even been allowed. Either that or they should have given us a 5th slicer to work with, extra employees, and breakfast in bed every morning for the inconvenience. Come over to my house. It's only a 10-minute walk away. Maybe if they had fixed that stupid-ass auto slicer that was broken for the entire 2 years I was there, by the way, this wouldn't have been such an inconvenience to our job. It's your job, it's your job, it's your job. Yeah? And this is my fist. It's going directly into your balls. The same people who use "it's your job" as an excuse to be rude or ask for unreasonable shit are probably the same people who outright harass others and then hide behind freedom of speech. It's the same copy and paste cowards who would shrivel up and die if they had to work even an hour of food service. I think it should be a requirement for every citizen of the United States to work at least 6 months in food service. Empathy levels would be through the roof. You wouldn't believe your eyes. Exhibit D. People who demand service after closing. Now, I covered this in my pet peeves video and my opinions have not changed a bit. I still think these creatures deserve to be banned from the store. If you find yourself feeling entitled to service from a food worker after their place of business is fucking closed, you are an utter failure of a human being. I don't care if you found the cure to cancer. If you expect service from employees after they are closed, every accomplishment you have ever made in your sorry life immediately gets undermined and disregarded. You are a disgrace to the planet. No exceptions. I said before that I work in a grocery store, but the deli specifically closes before the store does, which means any old troglodyte can drag their disease-ridden selves to our counter and ask for meat or a sandwich after all the lights are visibly turned off and the food is wrapped up. Look around you. You are surrounded by every food of every kind in every direction. You're really that desperate for a $12 sandwich that's as big as your brain that tastes of cardboard? You are responsible for grocery shopping at this God-forbidden hour. The only reason you should be shopping at night is to grab something real quick. You should be planning a whole song and dance because you should know this shit's not going to be open this late. It's not even about knowing the hours. It's about having uncommon sense. Here's a little story for you all. One fateful night, a darkness loomed over the store as the deli came to a close. Or at least it was supposed to. Instead, after we had already turned off all the lights, some lady walks up and starts filling out a form for us to make a custom sandwich. Like, actually put together all the ingredients on a sandwich after we are closed. Like a 5 to 10 minute process after we're closed. Mind you, the sandwich part is very clearly, visibly covered in saran wrap. So I approach her, my first mistake. I tell her we are closed, and she says, "Well, can I just get a pre-made sandwich then?" "No, ma'am, but you can smell my ass. That you can do." My second mistake was going the mercy route and telling her that, sure, I'll just grab something for you real quick and wrap it up from the pre-made sandwich what's this? Who is this freak standing at my sandwich counter? "Hey, can I just grab some charcuterie meat real quick? I know you guys are closed." "Excuse me? Then why are you here breathing my valuable air?" I even say to this guy, "I might as well," in the most pitiful voice I could conjure up, hoping that maybe, just maybe, he would take the hint that I do not want to help him, and he is dragging me more and more behind my work and making me go home later and later by demanding service. Just to give you all an idea, we are open 7 days a week, 364 days of the year, for 13 hours straight, and these nasty, filthy cockroaches still infest the deli after we have already closed. You cannot make the argument that these people just don't have time to shop because they work during the day, because they have almost every day of the goddamn year to get their sandwich, get their meat, and get the fuck out. And even in the insane circumstance that they cannot, by any means, access our deli due to their schedule, you better shop elsewhere, heathen. You are no longer welcome. So at this point, I was left at the deli with not one, but 2 customers at 2 different counters needing service. Because remember, I'm still in the middle of helping this lady with the sandwich she doesn't deserve and has done nothing to earn. And now we got shit lips over here asking for some meat. And I am one person helping 2 people at the same time after we're fucking closed. I am now entitled to committing war crimes because I said so. So anyways, you guys, we're gonna go over some specific examples of the worst customers that I had to deal with while working this job. On this list of ridiculous customers, I'm gonna go over each incident ranking from this is kind of funny to look back on to I still hope this person burns in the darkest pits of hell for eternity. So let's get started. So the first incident I would like to cover is someone who is genuinely so miserable that a single act of positivity brought his whole mood down. I had just gotten back from lunch and I saw someone at the counter, so I approached him to help him. I had a coworker next to me and another coworker passing by the deli who looked at us, smiled, and gave us a heart sign. Seems pretty harmless, right? No, not for this man. To this man, this had single-handedly ruined his whole night and his whole experience at the deli. All of a sudden, he starts going off about how he just wants to come here and get some food, man, and he's so tired of this shit and we're annoying, man, and then leaves. Like, okay, go hungry, I guess? Keep in mind that I had just come back from my lunch and didn't even see the heart sign play out. From my perspective, I walked up to a customer, said hello, and then all of a sudden he started going off about how he's just so tired and all he wants is some food. This next incident was a whole ass journey with twists and turns. It felt like I was watching a movie unfold. I was slicing some chorizo for this man, which was taking a long ass time because the slicers were about as big as my fingernail, and it takes like 30 slices for it to actually weigh anything. So this is taking forever, and suddenly another customer lines up behind him, so now we've got a line going and I'm nowhere near done. I start trying to hurry and this heathen starts telling me, be careful with the slicer, you're gonna injure yourself, telling me how to use my equipment at my job, which I do not appreciate. When the time comes to put the chorizo on the scale and print out a tag for him, I spill half of it onto the ground, breaking down in tears. I ask if he wants me to cut more, and he just silently nods his head. My coworker, who I was close with at the time until I found out that she drives high with her baby in the back of the car, came to my defense and started yelling at the guy because he was giving me a hard time, saying, you know how this works. You know our system. You used to work here. Huh? Apparently, this man right here previously worked at this very deli and was now giving me shit for not doing my job properly and not being careful enough. Honestly, the huge lore drop makes this incident funny enough to look back on, so it doesn't rank very high on the list. This next incident would be much higher on the annoyance chart if it weren't just low-key funny. This regards someone who apparently doesn't know what it means when a place of business is closed, and you heard me go off on that earlier. It is quite possibly my #1 pet peeve about working in food service. However, this particular situation was just kind of silly and I didn't have to experience it firsthand. My coworker did. Your service to this country does not go unnoticed, my friend. This man came in probably an hour after we were closed and asked my coworker if he could get some pastrami. He was told, sir, we are closed. This apparently did not compute with this man because he proceeded to say, I'll take a half pound. My coworker repeats that we are closed, everything's wrapped up, and he would keep saying shit like, okay, I'll get a pound, okay, I'll just take all of it. Like, no sir, you will turn around and take your sorry ass home completely pastrami-less. Go to sleep, the sky is black, it's past your bedtime, sir. I think some people wake up and think to themselves, I'm gonna be rude to the first person I see at the grocery store. Case in point, I come back from doing something and this man is standing at the charcuterie counter. Naturally, I'm looking to see if he needs assistance, but he's looking down at some products that are in front of the case. Products that have nothing to do with us or our department. All of a sudden, he looks up, so I approach him, ready to help him, and he starts saying, is there anyone who can help me? And I say, yes, I can help you. Now, any normal, functioning adult would take that as their cue to place their order, take their order, and carry on with their day. But no, you don't understand. See, some people just need to find problems, need to find things to complain about, something to fill the empty void that their friends, hobbies, and estranged children once occupied. So this old decrepit man says, several people have passed me and no one has helped me. So I repeat, I am right here and I can help you. This thing then proceeds to lecture me about how he doesn't want to hear some snarky ass comeback. He just wants someone to help him. Then why didn't you shut your fat, revolting mouth 15 seconds ago and accept the help I was very clearly, explicitly offering you? At that point, I should have told him to drop and give me 20 if he wanted his precious roast beef. But instead, I did my job, smiled. That's a lie. I did not smile at that Neanderthal. But I did the bare minimum, my favorite service to provide customers, and handed him his roast beef and even had the decency to say, here you are. He rips the meat from my hands with his crusty, stubby little fingers and then tells me, you're welcome. Motherfucker, for what? For wasting my time with this nasty attitude? For stealing oxygen from worthy human beings around you? This old fart then stomps over to a store manager and bellyaches about whatever the hell I even did. Later on, I approach another store manager and bring up my concern about this absolute nothing burger situation getting me fired. He says not to worry because he actually spoke about it with the first manager and he said, I'm not trying to be racist. What are we about to get into? The guy was Indian, and Indian customers tend to be really entitled. So apparently, due to racism, I got to keep my job. I don't know about you guys, but when someone starts being a dick to me, my first thought isn't what they look like. My first thought is, I hope someone dies and goes to hell today. Like a much more reasonable and level-headed individual, obviously. The story doesn't even end there. I had an Indian coworker and friend, so of course the first thing I do next time I see him is tell him about this cartoonish sequence of events. And he agrees with the store manager. He's like, yeah, Indian people can be really rude and entitled. Huh? He tells me it's like a cultural thing and it's not really rude to them but can appear rude to us, so whatever, I guess I must have done something that appeared rude to him. Maybe this is ignorant, but I don't really care. No matter where you come from, get that nasty attitude away from me before I turn this grocery store into a Waffle House. Well, I have a lot more stories to go over with you guys, but this video is getting kind of long, so I think I'm going to end it off here. I will return with a part 2 at some point in the future, but for now, I hope you enjoyed these customer pet peeves and some of the worst customers that I have had to deal with. This is just the beginning, so prepare yourselves for next time. We'll be going over people who straight up interrupt your conversation with a customer, and grown men who can't count to fucking 10. But that's all for next time, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.